Egyptian civilization in the storage of the museum, the storeroom of the museum, and she would like to speak about that for us, something new for us, because this icon had been well, confiscated or found by somebody, and then
It was stolen and found.
was stolen and found in the airport of Asyut, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
An icon had been stolen and found in the airport of Asyut, and they took in the Museum of Egyptian Civilization, and Randa Baligh will speak to us about it and discuss its iconography and date and so on. So I'm saying change for us this evening. Please do that.
Thank you very much. Allow me first to start by thanking the organizers for including this at the last minute in the presentation, and also to say that it's working. I feel it's working. And also to say that these particular conferences of the St. Mark Foundation have really enriched my own knowledge. And one of the reasons I wanted to bring this is also to get your own input, because the truth is we do not know almost anything about this particular icon. This icon was discovered recently in the 2000s. Even the place is uncertain. We keep getting different stories because not the same person was in charge. So some people say Luxor Airport. Okay, it appears that it was not the Cairo International Airport anyway. Okay, and it was about to be smuggled out of Egypt, and they took it to the new Civilization Museum for start, and it was placed into storage. The reason they also did not put that display is that the director of the museum at that time was not sure whether it was an authentic antique. The curators, most of them were inclined to feel that it was, for a number of reasons. It's made out of wood, sycamore, and it only has a temporary number, by the way. This is not the real accession number. 25.4 by 16.5 centimeters, and about 3 centimeters thick. And it has a Greek text. Okay. There is an old man with white hair and a long mustache looking down and a beard, and he's holding a child and a scroll with 2 lines of what appears to be, well, certainly Greek. First there was something like the Coptic T or D, but then when we started reading it was definitely not Coptic, it was Greek. So the paper will attempt to examine the identities of the people and translate the text and comment on the general style. So the text, the Greek text, pedon philax, ficat, theo, God is written weird. It has an omega in the end. Todoron. Okay. I have not been taking Greek for very long, and my Greek teacher, Mr. Gergis Bushra, helped with the translation. But one thing was for sure, because we checked the words out also in a dictionary, and there are several problems with the Greek. There are several mistakes. Now that alone would definitely be some sort of an indicator that perhaps the person who wrote it was not a Greek. Since it was discovered in Egypt, perhaps it was written by an Egyptian. So the text could be, you have come to the earth as a gift of the God, or you have grown up the gift of the God to earth. And there is something which could be read as guardian of the child. So which could be like guardian. The word philax could mean mean like guard or watchman or guardian. It's a nominative singular masculine form. Pethikas is a verb which means to grow up. Stem is fool. Okay? Todoron is in a genitive form. The word pedon, first of all, does not exist. I couldn't find it in any of the dictionaries, and it's very possible, since there's a child in this icon, that it's supposed to be like paidion, which is child. So this is certain that the Greek itself has a number of mistakes. Okay? Regarding the elimination process, what does it not seem like, so we can try to discover what it is. The first impression I got was that the style does not resemble most of the Coptic icons. The eyes in particular are very unusual. They do have a lot of white. Our Finnish colleague here, I'm sorry I forget the name, I'll get it. She was under the impression that the eyes may not be original at all, in fact. And that's also a possibility. The background appears to have been golden. However, I think that it was very badly destroyed, or most of the gold was removed in the background. It's probably not that old, though. I mean, it could be something like 19th century. Okay. What about the personalities? Okay. Now, it's possible that the old man in the icon may be Simeon of the Septuagint translation. Okay, it's not the first time that we have an icon which depicts Simeon the Elder, or Sam'an al-Sheikh. Remember when he was doing the translation of the Old Testament, he read a part about a virgin giving birth in Isaiah 7:14, and was skeptical, wasn't sure what to do. And he wanted to use perhaps the word maid or maiden instead of virgin, because it was not clear for him how a virgin could give birth. However, in a vision, the Lord promised Simeon that he would not see death until he had seen, in fact, or he could behold Jesus Christ in person, the child born to the Virgin. And he did. Very often we have the icons, however, showing Mary, Joseph, and baby Jesus, and at the temple in Jerusalem, when they went to present him after his birth. Usually the period of purification is normally 40 days for a boy, about 80 for a girl. Leviticus 12:2-8. And the firstborn male child was to be consecrated to the service of God. That's Luke 2:22-23. They now celebrate that as like Candlemas. So sometimes they are shown. We do have that sort of an icon which just shows Simeon and Jesus. And this particular one, I want you to notice it has a scroll. Okay, so we have an old man, we have a child, and we have a scroll. That is similar to what we have. And this is a prototype from 16th century Cretan icon in Sinai and St. Catherine. Okay. Now, we do have icons showing just Simeon and Jesus, but we do have a lot which show several other people. Sometimes we even have the prophetess Hannah, because she was also there at the temple on that particular day, and she also sometimes is depicted with them in the icon, and also the two pigeons. And very often we would have a case where you actually have the pigeons as well. Okay. Now, another explanation is that these figures may represent Abraham and Isaac. Now, the elderly gentleman may be holding an object which could be a knife in his right hand. His left hand holds the child and the scroll of parchment with the Greek. And we have to remember also Abraham was an old man when he gave birth to his son Isaac. And his wife Sarah had sort of lost hope of ever having a child at this point, and he was definitely an old man as well. The problem is it's not very clear what he is holding in his hand and whether or not it's a knife. But I checked with a couple of people and their first impression was, well, he has something in his hand and it is possible that it is Abraham and Isaac. There are other icons representing Abraham and Isaac, but some of them, as you can see, are much more artistic and actually show the attempt to slaughter. And for example, in this one, of course, all of you, I think, recognize the style of so he's actually holding his hand. So that he does not slaughter Isaac. Okay, very artistic, in fact. Okay. Another possibility is that this icon may depict God the Father as the old man, and then maybe Jesus as the child. It's of course unusual to have icons depicting God the Father. There are misconceptions about whether or not it's considered correct, but most people agree that it's not. The Holy Fathers of the Seventh Ecumenical Council, which took place in Nicaea or Nicaea in 787 AD, declared that the icons of naked divinity or the person of the Trinity who have not become incarnate were not to be made. And that means God the Father and the Holy Spirit, since they were never sort of, apparent for people. So the Orthodox in particular firmly believe that the other members of the Holy Trinity who were never incarnate would never be depicted in icons. Okay? There are cases where other churches would represent the three figures in different ways. For example, this is one of them. You have God the Father and then Jesus and then the Holy Spirit as a smaller sort of object. Subject, I mean. And then this is another similar representation. It's in Trinidad, it's in Guatemala anyway. So we have also another representation which we find quite often is God the Father and God the Son shown the same size, sitting on thrones with a dove in between. Very often there is sort of a dove in between. Okay. There are several forms where God the Father is shown. We have the form of God of the ancient days. And in Russian icons we have God the Father and God the Son with the two seats. And in Fraternity icons we have God the Father with the Son on his lap and then the Holy Spirit. Okay, another possibility, this is a representation also of the Holy Trinity. Sometimes they are shown as something similar to three angelic entities, but this is very often not in the Coptic Church. You find it sometimes in other churches, different denominations. Other possibilities is that it could be like Saint Christopher, legendary saint known as the bearer of the Christ, when he was to carry Christ across the river, and then he felt the child was very heavy, and he wondered why. The child told him, it's because I bear the sins of the earth. And it's more like an idea, not a real entity. Or it could be Father Justus, the disciple of Father Samuel in Mount Calamun or Navarra, because they had said that he had a sinful relationship with a woman and had a child, and sometimes he is shown with a child. Right, conclusion, basically what we what I'm inclined to believe. Regarding the dating, I am awaiting an expert opinion, and it will depend on a number of things. Like it is temporary, however, so that alone is quite an old thing. It's probably from Egypt, since they quoted about to leave the country. And the eyes are unusual. The folds of the dress could be indicative, again, of Coptic, although I am actually inclined to feel Greek, not Coptic. And regarding the entities, I'm actually more inclined to identify the figures as Simeon and baby Jesus, because of the text. In particular, it's the one that made the most sense to me, let's say. Of course, I do want your input, and I'll try to show another picture of it so that you can take sort of a look at it. Look at it before we end. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I would like to see again the icon. Perhaps also you would like to see again the icon.
Is it clear? Does it appear?
Yeah. Yes. Any comment? Any question? Yes, please. Yeah.
So I was just wondering, because he's a monk, that he's represented as a monk, so that I would just quickly I would think that the last
Like Father Justus, since he's a monk, is he that why you feel that he would be a monk?
I've never seen an icon of Justus, but I've never seen Simeon in the clothes of a monk.
Okay, and notice also that the halo, I mean, if there was a halo on the child's head, and this is not clear, it seems to have been sort of, it's not clear, whereas the halo on top of the head of the older man is very apparent. And the style of the halo on the old man's head, there are certain Byzantine icons which have a bit of a similarity, but not, I couldn't find anything identical to this halo actually. Nothing identical. And the child could have had a halo which is now not apparent. I did not feel this was a monk's robe, but you feel that it is, and you definitely are a restorer, and you've dealt with a lot of icons, so I will definitely include that in the paper with your name.
Any more comments? What do you think, Gertrude, about the story?
Yeah, it is the text, but if the text was not there, you could also have the possibility that it is the soul who carries one. That it is the soul, a small child in white, wrapped in bright.
Soul, yeah. So anyhow, art historian of such period, 18th, 19th century, should give us precise or more details about it. This is a completely different specialization. So, however, I have a small comment. This must have been stolen from could you have the number? It has numbers. It belongs to a big collection. So we have 1004 numbers. Let me recommend you to contact the American Research Center 10 years ago, or more than 10 years ago. We have done a project in Egypt, documentation of more than 2,000 items. So I believe that this has been stolen from a church or a monastery or a Greek church, or it is not. It doesn't belong to a private collection. Somebody who has one or two icons, so it belongs to a big collection. These big collections, you have at least 2,000 icons in the American Research Center. So contact them, Michael Jones and others, to see whether they have this one or not. Then you will know from what we may also keep in mind that Coptic churches, Coptic monasteries, they also have Greek icons. And if you go to the church of Harris, you will find a representation of the Father, and they kept it inside. I have seen it. This means Greek artists, they have done the representation of the Father, which we do not do in our churches here. And you will find it there. If you go to Abuna there, show me the church of the Father in your storeroom, he will show it to you. So this is number one. Number two, the Greek Orthodox community in Egypt. Like they have a church in Old Cairo, and in Korea, they have also their residents. In Alexandria, you may distribute photos of it to them. And then perhaps it has been already published, we don't know. This belongs to a big collection.
Yeah, but
We don't know. Some people study 20 years icons. They will know more than us, more than me too. So yeah. So this is another even as a apologist, it is not my specialization. You need American Center, Greek churches, and if it is in a Coptic church, it will be in the American Religious Center. Greek Orthodox churches, the Roman Orthodox, Cairo, Alexandria, and distribute them a copy or a photo to help us to know where it is.
contact Father Gregory.
Thanks. Yeah, you will find many people. Any more comment? Yes, please.
Yeah, as an old man with a child, if you see it as a soul, you can also see it as Abraham and the poor Lazarus.
Abraham and?
The poor Lazarus.
Abraham and the poor Lazarus. So you have a lot of interpretation. So, yeah.
Abraham and the poor Lazarus.
The main thing is to know its provenance, from where it had been stolen. Okay. Any more comments, questions? So thank you very much for your...
Thank you very much.